the... That's not how it goes. Once again, it's the incredible Edit Animal. God damn. That's how I spend my Saturday mornings, working on editing this this guy right here. All right, let me see here. You got what I need. First green screen suit video. What? Sounds cool. Day 23. No. Got what I need. R.I.P. Biz, by the way. It's breaking my goddamn heart. Oh no. Duns Scotus says, I don't taste any curry in this currywurst. You got whiteworsted. Let's see. Let me let fucking Pound Llamas know that we're doing this. I had to get on an IRC writing group, but I only know. Honestly, you know, I'd really struggle to be my true self in a writing group. Hold on. And can I shrink this? Oh, there we go. Yeah, and it's just way zoomed in on whatever. Shout out to Powerful Judge. And then I got my Discord. The show was a big success last night. I had a good time. Boom. Epic fantasy novel edit. And pretty soon today we might get to add another chapter to that whole thing. What kind of... All right, so somebody says, what kind of fantastic breakfast can I make with English muffins and mushy peas? And I advise them to fry the peas into pea latkes. Obviously, you want to butter and toast the English muffins, and then have some kind of vinegar note, like mustard or hot sauce. Yep, so it's just basically like making a crunchy texture, adding a lipid, and then turning the peas, which don't really belong with English muffins in any way, shape, or form, into like essentially a falafel. Gangsta shit. If only editing were so easy as making recipes out of shit in the cupboard. You know what I mean? But it ain't. Load, we like to party. Oh God, that guy, that fucking guy, right there. Well, let's say that we begin our editing on this beautiful Saturday morning. It's supposed to thunder and lightning and all manner of ills later this evening. And then I'm eagerly. So, Atanchi sends a bee. Well, thank you. We just did a story about bees all over this guy. And yeah, like the last chapter was about people being... I'm not even fucking with you. If you scroll up here, you can see Barely Poison. The guy's name is Yellow Hat, too. Bees stirs, don't interrupt her. And then here, they're getting... Guided by her will, the river rose around the canoe in a frothing ring. El Shala bent the wall of water overhead, forming a roiling dome. Thousands of bees were caught and drowned in her swirling ward. Beneath the murky dome, the day grew darker still. The maddening drone was... That's so annoying. Yeah. So, Not sure why, but the chat had the OBS had this brilliant idea. It was like, you know how I'm running and recording your stream, and you're communicating with people and having a good time and everything. What if that shit wasn't going down and I just crashed because I felt like it? That was the view from the top on Young OBS. That happens only on this stream. There's something with this profile that OBS just does not like. And if I were smart, I would wipe out this profile and start over. But I feel like too lazy. And I was doing like a dramatic reading of this paragraph too. I don't know how much you got. So let me see. Am I back? Am I back live? Yeah, I'm back live. So I was having fun with it. Let me see. How was I doing it? It's like, guided by her will, the river rose around the canoe in a frothing ring. El Shalah bent the wall of water overhead, forming a roiling dome. Thousands of bees were caught and drowned in her swirling ward. Beneath the murky dome, the day grew darker still. The maddening drone was squelched to the confused buzzing of individual bees. The stinging stopped, but there was no time to rejoice. I do not read audiobooks in that fucking voice. The stinging stopped, but there was no time to rejoice. Oh, love that. Well, I don't know. I might have lost a viewer forever there. I didn't even have time to greet this individual before the stream died. But I guess they were on Twitch, so they would have just seen it go black. And I doubt that they will bother to refresh. C'est la vie. Well, it seems like it's just me today, so let's get down to the business of. Hey, hold on. Let me make sure that Logic isn't rattling around there. Nah, Logic is asleep. Milkness is asleep. Spatiwa. I hope to God he's asleep, man. That guy works so hard. Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. The video out on YouTube. So while I'm working up my nerve, let me refresh the chat there. I had an idea for like a YouTube video that I should probably put on my other channel, but I wanted to talk about the like my top 10 list of supervillain terrorist attacks that I would like to see in movies. Really, honestly, I would be pretty fucking stoked to see these overall. I feel like terror attacks have really been slipping since old 9/11, and I would definitely like to see a little bit of creativity injected into it. So maybe I'll make that video. I wonder if you can make that video and just get like a good dialogue happening with other people. Just about, yeah, you can't. Somebody's like, yeah, you can't actually blow up the Yangtze River Dam like that. It doesn't work. You can't just like drop depth charges on the guy. Like, he would need so many depth charges. But, like that's always been my, like, I wonder if you could just fucking float depth charges down a river and blow up like the Hoover Dam or the Three Gorges Dam or the Aswan Dam or whatever there. It's just the amount of devastation that a dam can cause, because there's so much potential energy stored up there. Like, if you think about 9/11, like the building has a ton of potential energy. Like, it would love to like collapse to the ground and so forth. But then if you think about like what's behind a dam, you're talking about like 1,000,000 times more material that's ready to just go and rock. I've read a few times that if the Hoover Dam were to just fail for no fucking reason, it would kill something like 50 or 60,000 people that are in the valley just below it. They just would have no hope. It would just annihilate them. And I have no idea what would happen as a consequence if the Aswan Dam got hit, or, for instance, like the Three Gorges Dam, which might break on its own. I don't know if you're allowed to say that on YouTube. It was like a crazy right-wing conspiracy for a little bit. But yeah, just and then it wouldn't just be like the initial hit, like of all these people drowned and so forth. All this infrastructure would get ruined. It would just annihilate all kinds of. You would have problems for months and years to come, and then like the healing of the family structures, and it would be wild, essentially, right there. So yeah, I'm thinking it would be cool to do a YouTube video that just examined that and a bunch of other crazy ideas that I have for really evil. Supervillain type shit. Like, I included one of them Lemon, maybe in The Electric Lady, which was the last edit that we did. The Man in Gray did a couple of like super evil terrorist attacks. Like he had a guy go out to JFK Airport with just a fucking, I think it was an AR-15, and just stood on top of his car where the planes fly in and just raked the cockpit and killed both the pilot and the co-pilot, and the plane crashed into, I think, Terminal 5 of JFK Airport. Which I checked with the pilot for that one. I'm like, could this actually happen this way? Like, could the plane actually kind of drift into there? And the way that we wrote the story, was that it was in the middle of a storm that was too crazy for them to go in under autopilot, and he said, yeah, like it's entirely possible that it could drift into the terminal, and to me that was super fun. And then his next one was blowing up the George Washington Bridge, along with, I think he blew up the Holland Tunnel, and I mean blowing up the Holland Tunnel and the Lincoln Tunnel. It's amateur hour, really. Like who gives a shit if you blow up those tunnels? You're not going to impress anybody. But something about the George Washington Bridge, which is like the one of the most iconic bridges in North America. It's still to this day the most heavily trafficked bridge on our hemisphere, and it's definitely. I had to do a bunch of research on how big those guide bars were, or the main cables were, and the creation of the bridge and so forth. So anyhow. I would love to get some more publicity for Zeros, and I think maybe making a YouTube video about crazy supervillain ideas might be a way to do it, especially if you can spur a dialogue. Like some of the ones that I've got, I would love to have people being like, like you can't actually release enough sulfur hexafluoride into the atmosphere to have an appreciable difference. 'Cause that's one of the ones. What have I got there? Well, let me get into editing or whatever. I'll make the video later. But that was another one I was wondering, like if you spun up a plant that did nothing but produce sulfur hexafluoride and just dumped that into the atmosphere, you're just like, all right, let's see what happens right there. So sulfur hexafluoride is a pretty valuable insulator. It's like a gas that has some specific components that make it great for insulating electrical exchanges and for, I believe, semiconductor production and so forth. But it is like something like 100 times more powerful as a greenhouse gas than methane, and it just stays in the upper atmosphere forever. We don't, like, it's a huge problemo, and every time that there's a spill of this, we're like, oh, well, I guess next summer is going to be a degree hotter. So if you had a concerted effort to just pump this into the atmosphere, like could one plant have like an appreciable effect on the world? I'm wondering, like maybe you could just barbecue the entire globe with the output of like essentially one industrial power plant. I do not know. And that's the kind of thing that you would get to research and have fun finding out there. And then as I was like thinking about this idea last night, I'm like, if your video gets popular, like somebody's going to swipe one of these ideas and put it in a movie, and they'll just bungle it so fucking bad. Won't that turn your stomach? And, well, it's not like my own ideas aren't bungled in some cases anyway. The other part of it was like, what if somebody actually does one of these fucking things? And then I've got to be like, I don't know how to feel about this one. Because there are just like a lot of key vulnerabilities where I'm like, why doesn't somebody just fucking do this? I don't know. I think everybody who is of a technical bent from time to time will think about taking their ideas and bending them to some destructive capacity. And that's why, like, half of why we have wars is just people are like, I wonder what would happen if I just filled a big gas bag with hot gas and then drifted over France and just dropped grenades on people. Who doesn't want to do that whole thing? Shouts to World War I, the Dicta Bolka. Well, now I'm in a state, so let's get down to it. This is RAPAXORIS, chapter 1.9. It's going to be our second day of working on editing this, and we're not going too hard because it's a Sunday, and I want to do some reading of chapters later. If you've never viewed this before, you can see in the YouTube link, if you go to the YouTube channel for this broadcast, there is a paste bin And also, let me just type it. So I think the paste bin should show up there at the top of the screen, right there. So that has everything that's happened in the story thus far. It has a chapter-by-chapter synopsis. And when we finish a chapter, we'll add it to the synopsis. And once again, if you have any questions or comments or whatever, you can always ping me at zach@zachzyz.com. Or on Twitter or YouTube or, you know, they have a fucking million ways to holler at them. Or just type your question in the chat. I don't give a damn. Chapter 1.9, RAPAXORIS by Zach ZYZ. Read by the author. Days of rowing left their mark. Skin burned and peeled, blisters burst, and calluses formed. The river flowed on forever, indifferent to their labor. It took constant effort to make progress on the RAPAXORIS. Making progress on the Rakar took constant effort. To stop rowing was to be swept backward. I like that better. When the journey began on the Grey Quay, Fish had eyed Rigel's scrawny arms and wondered if the boy was up to the task. To his surprise, Fish was the one struggling to keep pace. His ancient joints griped and groaned with every dip of the oar. Fish pushed on anyway, unwilling to let a child outrow him. Rigel was relentless. The boy must have thought Fish would whip him if he slowed. They plowed upriver, yoked together by pride and fear. I just really like that paragraph. So far, Fish was pleased with his choices, both companion and canoe. Their boat was a reefer's canoe, stitched whalehide, stretched over a chusquea frame and impregnated with gale gum. Chusquea. I think it's chusquea. It is, I think, a Spanish word for a type of some sort of redwood. Reefers were strong enough for open sea, yet light enough to be carried across shoal. Reefers were strong enough for open sea and light enough to be carried across shoals to deep pools where the most elusive fish hid. I think that's a little bit of a mouthful of a sentence right there. Reefers were strong enough for open sea and light enough to be carried over shoals to deep pools where the most elusive fish hid. I don't think that that's actually true on our planet, but it is cool to like go into those big chuck holes and so forth. Really, I don't think anybody would do this because the shoals would just shred the living shit out of your feet. Ugh, coral. It's an amazing. It's an amazing. I was just at the aquarium. You can see where they were growing their own coral, and the patterns that each one of these makes is just amazing. Like I can see why people are so into aquariums, and I love scuba diving myself. They're just the like crazy fractal patterns of these super simple colonies of life forms are insane. And it was neat to see the way that they were doing. Like they had some where they were like hanging off of a rope. There were types of, I think, coral where their nascent life stages are like clinging to seaweed and other things, and they have to have a current flowing over them to form correctly. And other ones where they just had them like attached to a cork plug, and then they would pull it out and plant it in one of their aquariums. And they say that they were doing this so that they didn't have to harvest coral in the wild, which is like maybe that's the case. But more likely, they just felt like gardening some coral and wanted to they wanted to have a tank full of it. Fish had worried her bottom might be torn out in the rapids, but she'd held up admirably. See, sadly, this morning I have nobody to scoff at that. As the pair made progress up the Ricard, the valley bared its teeth. They rode past towering crags, beneath guano-streaked bluffs, chattering with nests. They rode past towering crags, beneath guano-streaked bluffs, chattering with nests, and through solemn canyons, ancient beyond belief, ancient beyond measure. That doesn't work. They rode past towering crags, beneath guano-streaked bluffs, chattering with nests, and through tranquil canyons, ancient beyond belief. Yeah, tranquil has to be there. The trees were taller here, and the forests were darker. All around them were the songs of strange birds. Far in the distance, they could hear the lowing of unseen beasts. Hell yeah, slouching towards that Bethlehem. As dusk approached, they found a shattered stone watchtower rising from an island at the center of the river. As dusk approached, Rigel and Fish found a shattered stone watchtower rising from an island at the center of the river. They hid their canoe in the brush and climbed up to explore. Fish drew his sword, and Rigel clutched the nobleman's dagger, but there was no need. There was no need. It looked like no one had been here in a century. They set up camp inside, watching sparks from their fire drift up to greet the first stars. Later, Fish saw Rigel glance across the fire at him with an Later, Fish saw Rigel glance across the fire at him with an expectant look on his face. The boy wanted to hear some spiel of the ones who built this tower, or an account of the battles fought in its shadow. But Fish had nothing for him. He could not remember this tower at all. As they ventured further north, his memories grew scattered and sparse. The absence of memory disconcerted Fish. When he failed to recall, there was a sense of theft, as if his pocket had been picked. He slept poorly, feeling he'd lost something vital. He slept poorly that night, feeling he'd lost something vital. The next morning, Fish rose before the boy and fetched his bow and quiver from the canoe. They saw a few signs of game on the island. Yeah. The island was too small for game, so he paddled across the river. Yeah. As the sun rose, he strung his short bow and shouldered a quiver of broadheads. He could not remember how far it was to their destination. There we go. Cool. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that little addition there was, I was just like, he didn't tell Rigel where the fuck he was going. Rigel's gonna wake up and be like, "Wow, I've been abandoned." And yeah, that ain't no fun. Yeah, the homies can't have none. So yeah, I wanted to make that little distinction there and see what that did for us. The other part of it too was what we go into in the next paragraph, how he's like being careful to supplement with whatever, and he's not going to miss a chance to acquire some food. And I think later in this chapter we also have Rigel has caught some fish, So I'm just covering my tracks there. The next morning, Fish rose before Rigel and climbed down to the canoe. Well before the sun rose. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Slept for 12 hours and missed LRH Kill Me. It was a pretty good one, too. So, initially, I tried to do a street stream, but I couldn't get the YouTube app to go into landscape mode. It was doing it in fucking portrait, and my gimbal kept complaining about its motor. It's like, don't do that to me. I have another gimbal that can work that way. But so anyhow, we just wound up doing a regular. I just had to go back to the studio and like in a frenzy set shit up and do like a regular stream, and it wound up being a pretty fun time. It was just like a very regular one. I don't think there were any huge revelations. Who was it? Fat Bob, the guy who I think he ran Dick Scab. He's like kind of a unsavory individual. Was supposed to call in and tell some stories about his legendary exploits in the realm of compiling creepy pictures of people, but he did not, which is honestly probably for the better. And then I don't think we had any news or nothing crazy is going on. No like guest hosts or whatever. And I don't think anybody too wild called up, but I still had like a really good time. I need Louis Rossman to shadow my street stream. Man, I'd like call that guy up to fix my hard drive, and he's like, we don't do helium, bro. I'm like, this is why New York is falling apart, because of Louis fucking Rossman. He's so pessimistic about fucking New York. New York is still going to be here, you know? No amount of mayoral ineptitude is going to fuck it up. What you have to hope is that Eric Adams is just a really hard line on being like, we're going to take these homeless people and they're going to disappear. Poof, it's magic. Where do we send them? I don't know. And then Philadelphia is like, fuck you, New York. But I mean, really, that's probably like one of the number one issues on a lot of New Yorkers' minds. He thinks New York City is going to be a slum with 50% vacancy rates. It's going to be pretty high. Yeah, like he's not wrong about how all the fucking stores are falling apart and businesses are failing and so forth. Like what they should have done at the beginning of fucking COVID is declared a moratorium on rent for a lot of these agencies. They needed to do away with like all that indoor dining restrictions. That shit was idiotic for the most part. All of their COVID restrictions needed to be set up so that people could still work. They really, I honestly think our response to COVID was inane. It was a terrible idea. We should have incentivized the people that were still willing to work. Like all those people should have gotten fucking double wages to keep working. Essentially, we needed to go through a period where people who continued to work and do essential things were just given piles of fucking money, and we did everything possible to keep businesses open. Like it really just was the city interfering in so many different businesses, and there's so much overreach in like what the city will let you do. Like you can't have a dog in a bar, right? That doesn't seem like a lot, but like everybody has a fucking dog that they want to bring into a bar. And if you own a bodega and somebody brings their dog in, you're going to get, and like a city inspector just happens to be traipsing by and they're everywhere. Bam, you get a $500 ticket. Doesn't matter if you have a sign that says, don't bring your fucking dog in here. You still get like the $500 ticket. There's just many, many instances where the city is meddling, and it really, I mean, everybody likes to complain about a bureaucracy, but I mean, there's no reason to be here in New York. The tax rates are fucking insane. Everybody can work remotely at this point. You don't have to be here just to get a good job. So you'll see like a huge diaspora out of New York, and I would assume out of like San Francisco and other places. And the people that are left behind will be like increasingly crazy homeless people because there aren't all these guilty, rich fucking people to give them handouts. Like people like me who are relatively working class, like when a bum is like, hey, let me get some fucking money. I'm like, how about you get a fucking job? No, because usually they're just too crazy for that. I'm like, sorry, I can't help you, guy. And fucking all my money's in credit. He's like, no, I got a fucking Stripe reader, you know, which is where they should be at, right there. I should just do a program of Stripe readers for the homeless. But yeah, the city is going to deal with like an aggressively contracting tax base, and like a lot of the rich people that left are not coming back, nor should they, because it's, you know, we're going to get back into, we won't quite be in like the 70s era in New York, but literally I expected, well, let me see what the murder rate is for New York in 2020. Because I thought it would be crazy. Citywide crime statistics. Oh, they declined. Yeah, because it was fucking crazy. All right, so there were only 33 murders in June. That's not too bad. And a pretty big increase in... all right, so they're finally cracking down on some of this gun shit. 81 count in involvement in Brooklyn that charged 14 alleged gang members with 11 shooting incidents. Okay, cool. And they're spinning the courts back up a little bit. Let me see. I probably know one of the people in that 81 count indictment with those 14 alleged gang members. I probably have like a tangential connection to at least one of them just by the people I know in my neighborhood. Yeah, we're Murderapolis days right there. Yeah, why would you be in Minneapolis right there? Oh, fucking wretched. But yeah, I think we'll see a lot of that. What I was thinking recently was, why aren't we spinning up? Why aren't we just making like it incredibly? Um, Maybe the labor base isn't there any longer, because I guess you do have to have a labor base. But why aren't we building chip factories in the shadow of the Great Lakes? And just dumping all the sulfur hexafluoride into the air and the sulfuric acid directly into those lakes and turning them into a brilliant green glow. All right. Anyhow, well, now that I'm completely knocked off of my game right here. The next morning, Fish rose early and climbed down to the canoe. He left the fishing rods behind for Rigel and paddled to the western shore. Let's find out what a copse is. I like the word copse, but yeah, I think it's a grouping of trees. Uh, Originally meaning a small wood grown for purposes. Thicket of, yeah, a thicket. I like thicket too. Uh, yeah. Late spring. Okay. So when is this happening? Let's make them notoriously difficult to pick from the tree. Yeah. Or we're gonna do a thicket of mulberry bush. Well, they have different meanings too. Like copse, um, generally like, and I'm just pulling from my own experience. When to pick mulberries? Oh, and they're trees too. Very short shelf life. Let's take a look at what mulberry trees. Oh, I think we might use a copse of mulberry trees. Do they grow close together? Let's take a look. Well, look at this fruitless mulberry shade tree in pot. Morris alba, aka fruitless mulberry. This is what I like. The red and black mulberry trees. That looks dope to me. East Coast footlong mulberry. Morris negra. Ruby red fruit. That's wild. Yeah, I don't think I've ever eaten a mulberry. Ever-bearing mulberry tree. 2 to 3 year old. Yeah, that looks cool. Reminds me of those like black and red fucking Haribo raspberries that are some of my favorites. Now that I've said that, there's like a terrible danger that I will buy them. There we go. Have you ever heard of huckleberry? Oh, all the fucking time. Yeah, I think I've actually eaten huckleberries at some point. They're a little bit more common in the South. Let's take a look. I don't think I would use huckleberries. Let's take a look. Yeah, I've eaten these. Huckleberry versus blueberry. Okay. Yeah, I definitely have these. They look good. They look better than they taste, for the most part. Huckleberry Heaven. Epic Huckleberry Patch. See it to believe it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like a... They look good, but they're not. No, I don't want to use that census. They're on bushes, not trees. Huckleberry bush. No, mulberries are on trees. Like we just looked that up. I thought mulberry bush initially myself, but they're trees. Yeah, like this is a mulberry tree. They're not fucking around. Weeping white mulberry tree. Must be nice to like have land where you can plant trees and so forth. You know, I'm getting old where I'm like, I'd like to have some land. Sweet lavender mulberry. Street fruit that won't stain sidewalks. Ugh. It's ridiculous that people are worried about their sidewalks and not about getting that fruit. So there should be some like passage of time. Like how far north does he stalk along the river before he finds his quarry? Mm-hmm. That's fucking a little wordy right there. On the sidewalk. I mean, they do. They do. I've been. So I can right away. I can like imagine like all the birds and ants and so forth that like a fruit tree would drop. And like you, everybody has been like by a sidewalk where there's like all kinds of like mulberries like flattened underneath and so forth. But to me, it's like a brilliant impressionist painting. Shouldered north. They just plant maples on our sidewalks are pretty clean until fall hits the trees. 'Cause 80s farmer town turns city, so the code is strict and the planning commission is anal or whatever there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like things where they're like I can't stand going to suburbs like in the Midwest where like everything is fucking zoned and laid out and fucking houses are close together and everything. I like a lot of ramble and chaos and so forth. Like one of the nice things about brownstones is even though we live on like a grid, everything is so fucking clustered and crazy together. Like the shit is just wild here. There's no telling what the fuck is going on. So yeah, you might have like one house is black and the next one is white, and then one's got like some ugly fucking stucco falling off of it, and the next one is homeless. People are living inside and shooting up fentanyl right in their assholes, like out the window. You never know what you're gonna get around here. And you have some ugly ass condo going up that is gonna like rust up and look like a total piece of shit in 4 years, and nobody will do anything about it. Hell yeah. Um, They're drought tolerant, grow best and yield high. Moist soil types. They need a... Okay, they need a moist environment. Cool. So they could probably grow by a room bowl of soil. Root mulberry trees. I know a lot about mulberry trees now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun. Like honestly, like I take a walk in my neighborhood every morning, and there's always some. I take like a different street from time to time, and there's always some new aspect that I hadn't seen before. Like today, I noticed that there's a crabapple tree that some people are growing in front of their house, and like the apples are starting to come in, and they have it's like one of those yards where somebody obviously like spends a bunch of time like keeping it tidy and everything, and they had like some neat planters along their thing and everything, and there was a stream of ants climbing up the apple tree, and I like just sat there for a second. I'm like, what keeps ants from just eating every one of these apples, right? Just climbing up there and just nom 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 nom, like eating up all those apples before they're ripe. And I didn't know. Yeah, like there has to be some process that checks it so that these ants just don't eat every fucking thing in sight. But I don't know what it is. They must be going to some like rotting fruit or something higher in the tree. It's got to be some. Maybe they're eating sap. Lord only knows. Maybe there's a bunch of aphids in there eating them up. But yeah, I sat and had to think on that one for a second there, and then I came on edit the story about gray dappled yearly pigs. Yeah, I like that. I want the like red and black aspect of yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So this is what they grow like in Pakistan, right there. They they do not look as attractive as blackberries. Check this out for comparison. And I believe blackberries are yeah, look at how well, I guess they're for some reason. All right, so there's mulberries right here, and then here's some blackberries. Gangsta. But I think blackberries grow on brambles. Yeah, they're more like this right there. I used to have these growing. I fuck off Pinterest. But yeah, I used to. You would find these growing and like wait for them to turn from like green to red to black, and then gobble them up. Get fucking sticky juice all over you. Oh yeah. Thornless blackberries. Well, that's no good. That's no good. It's a rose without its thorn. The darker that berry, the bigger them nuts. Mmm. 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 I forget what fucking. I heard that on like some black comedy act, like in 1995. Never forgotten it. So can you have a cove and a river? Yeah. River Cove. Well, you can make a hospital named River Cove. Yeah. So you to restrict access to Neanderthals. What the hell is that? Oh, it's the name of their fucking, like, probably some social group about people walking there. Yeah. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. Hiding behind a trunk, he spied 4 dappled gray yeely pigs, bent by the river to drink. There we go, cool. Mm-hmm. Let's see what, okay. Especially a sheep. Yeah, cool. I want to use the word yearling, but I just want to make sure that it's right. Where you at, pages? I don't want to use hands. I think it's a dumb measurement. I was thinking about using that there. Only 5 feet tall at the shoulder. No, I don't like the rubbing shoulders part of it. Let's see. Let's look at what I have never been bow hunting. "60 to 100 yards. For hunting, the effective range of the recurve bow is somewhere between 20 yards and 40 yards, depending on the bow's draw weight and the archer's competency." Okay. Okay. Whew. Let's see. Yeah, let me send a good morning text. Yeah. Okay, let me make sure that sounder is right there. Yeah. Made up of sows. Oh, so sows are a sounder is a family group of pigs made up of sows. Okay, and then the boar. Mm-hmm. How to attract a sounder of swine. No, fuck off. I'm gonna keep using this ad blocker. Collective nouns for every animal, primarily as hunting terms. Oh, so they should be a drift. Yeah, a sounder of swine. I like that. This was the info that I needed right there. fucking love these words. Look, it was a tricky shot, nearly 30 yards, but the drift of pigs seemed liable to bolt. Ah, I love the libel is like one of my favorite like L sounds. Libel. It was just such like a round word. There's no fat on that word. It's just plump. Rather, there's a great deal of fat and roundness to that word. Big English. All right, what do we got here? I like that it's is boba appreciator who says boba right here. Oh, you missed out. Like all our boba were earlier in the story. Um, and we were just talking about the wonderful roundness of certain words. It's very boba-esque. Or I guess it would be booba. Is that how they fucking pronounce it? I think of it as boba because I think it's meant to make fun of that show Bob's thing. Let's find out. French rapper.
Booba. Booba.
Oh. So is it really Francois? What does booba even fucking mean in Francois? Alright, I think it's probably booba. Help me out here, booba appreciator. Why is this a minute long? And where's my fucking ad block? I feel like it keeps getting uninstalled. Something has got to be done. Booba appreciator. Alright, let me get back to my fucking story. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Boing. Is that my fucking package right there? Oh, I hope it is. Also, why is my door hanging open? Alright, let me check and see if this is my delivery. I shall return. Okay. Very nice. It was indeed the package. Let me see. Did I get what I really wanted, though? Alright, that's for me. No, I did not. So, got an XLR cable of some sort. A Boss FS7 foot switch. This is a XLR to 1/4 inch mono. And then, who are you? Then dual XLR, fucking F to whatever. And that one's important. I need that guy. But where is the most important part of this whole thing? Give me a second. Well, god damn it. Yeah, it's annoying as shit. It is indeed a dog. So unfortunately, like I just got all this shit from Amazon. They didn't deliver the part that I needed the most. So now I gotta hop onto the fucking horn and holler at them. I'll be back. Ugh, fucking annoying. Damn it. It's so fucking stupid. I don't know what it is, man. Like lately, fucking Amazon is getting real terrible about this. They'll say we're gonna deliver such and such by X time, and then it'll be like, several days fucking later that you'll get your package, and they don't give you any transparency on it. They're not like, oh yeah, this is gonna come at whatever time. I mean, it must just be like a fucking impossible task for them to keep all this shit updated and so forth. But I just want, when I order shit, I just want to know all the fucking time where it's at, and I want to know the second that this shit is going down. Like, it just, at this point, we should just have like real-time tracking of every fucking package and where the truck is at and so forth. I just want to know exactly on a map where it is at all fucking times, and I want to know to like within a half hour when it's supposed to fucking get there. And they can just like update the driver's route with like projected whatever. It's just, I want to get my fucking packages, but sadly I did not. So let's pour one out for my missing fucking package. Let me try and finish this chapter. That's such a bummer. I was really looking forward to fucking around with that thing today. And then the other thing that I bought, I'm probably gonna have to send back. So just a sad day for Load Radio. And you hate it too, because like if you're expecting a package that you're excited about, you fucking hang out all day, like, oh, when's it gonna come? And then it don't. And then all right. Fish heard snuffling as he rode into a copse of mulberry trees. And stopped short at the sound of snuffling. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, who dares to summon me? Oh, okay, there we go. It's in this channel right here. The P guy from earlier is making a Frito pie instead. Ridiculous. Frito fucking pie. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Breath techniques for bow hunting. Okay, one deep breath before he drew, a second while drawing, and a third as he settled the pins. Scapula is taut. Steady for the shot. Saturation of oxygen to the... Okay, cool. This makes sense. Knocked. Knocked is... Cool. Yeah, I like the little zen and the art of archery thing happening there. Mm-hmm. Cool. Da, da, da. "30 yards out, he knocked the arrow, took his first breath, and lined up the shot. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I want something like iconic here. Thank you, by the way, Outdoor News, for that thing about. I'm gonna try that the next time I'm shooting a bow. So, lineup shot, draw, aim, let out half. I like it. It makes sense to me. Yeah. Oh, it's very cute. Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah, let's try this guy. Yeah, I swear to God, the ad block just fucking keeps coming off of this thing for some reason. Yeah. Why aren't you working, ad block? Oh, now. Yeah. Yeah. What? Premium? Suck a dick. How to get a real fucking ad block on this guy. Really and truly. Exemplary, epochal. Oh, I like epochal. Recognizable, paradigmatic, seminal. Oh, seminal, actually. Because I can do seminal swine. I think seminal is a little wrong in that. Here, let's take a look. Pertaining to, containing, or consisting of semen. Highly original and influencing the development of future events. Seminal ideas. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think we can. I don't think I can do that. But I would like to call them seminal swine. Epochal. Epochal? How do you say that?
Epical.
Epical? That just means intermittent? Here, hold on. I like epical, but it doesn't mean what I want it to. Yeah. That's a good word, though. As in momentous. Traditional. Recognizable. Distinct is kind of what we want. But yeah, I think distinct. Perspicuous? Are you fucking serious? Perspicuous.
Perspicuous.
I like the sound of that. Pellucid. I've never heard that one before.
Pellucid.
Yeah, that's wild. I could just do this all goddamn day. Yeah, their perspicuous porcine cry. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, I kind of want to use perspicuous, but I know I shouldn't. Hold on. Transparent or yeah, it's so it seems like closer to translucency. So it comes from perspicio. Wait, it comes from perspicuous. In turn from perspixio. Sounds like a fucking Harry Potter spell right there. All right, so it's goofy as fuck for me to be doing this. All right. Yeah, life is good. clinked against a rock. Rondito rage quit LRH again? Nobody even like fucking posted like the piss askies last night. All right, hold on. Let's see what this is all about. Load radio. Wait, G isn't J Silver. All right, so Rondito saith, I don't even stop doxing anymore. There's scum like J Silver or G or whatever. Yeah, this is after I just devoiced somebody who was like causing trouble. And he says, "Fuck you," and this shitty Chan, it's dead. Yeah. They're so upset. I don't know what's wrong with these individuals right there. They need to fucking take a chill pill. For real. That's what I saith. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I don't have the option to. Yeah, he couldn't handle the whatever. Yeah, Rondito is like a very sporadic chatter. He really does have a hard time. Uh, it's kind of funny the way that it works out. So, G, is it true? Are you DeLorean this whole time? Are you the one, or is he just, or is Rondito just paranoid? Because like I see your ASCII style looks very similar to DeLorean's, and I wonder if you were DeLorean all along, or it might just be that you were inspired by the DeLorean style or whatever. I'm looking, so it looks like an open eye. I'll do some analysis of this a little later. But yeah, it's the same cock plane that was in some of these others right here. It does seem as if you were DeLorean. So Rondino is just paranoid. LMAO. I like that there's like paranoia and people upset over ASCII images of a guy drinking urine. And that's our big drama for the week. DeLorean is from Chicago, like shit poster. Huh. Do you think it's well it's not Dab Guy. Yeah, like we kept thinking that he was somebody that we had booted out of here. I think eFucked is in Chicago also. But what are they, homies or something? We'll have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's definitely a SuperNets chatter. So he showed up in SuperNets before he came to FNet. So initially we had like all these theories, like maybe he's Thread, maybe he's so forth. But I think he might just have like organically absorbed a lot of LRH data from SuperNets because some of that flowed from like Chrono and people like that into there. So he had like a bunch of this knowledge. He might be a chatter that we called Torpedo for a while, but he seems like less angry and more like relaxed than Torpedo was just like spurting out constantly. And similarly, like Thread would be the same thing. So I think he may just be like the genuine article of a new one. You know, I try to help Rondito out because I like Rondito, but yeah, man, he takes IRC like a little too seriously, I think. So, but yeah, that's good info for me because recently, like a few of the suggestions, somebody suggested that maybe Spoke was DeLorean, and she was just using it as a sock to fuck with Rondito. But Spoke was just like, I don't have time for that kind of horseshit, and I agree. And it's not her art style, right? He preaches Little Yachty. He's my age too, younger than me. He's those same chat patterns and music likes. Yeah, he did seem too young to be Thread. And you definitely from like your chat style, like you can't be older than 25. So I think you're like 21, 22. Wild. Huh. Mm-hmm. The arrow flew true, but the twang of his bowstring gave him away. Mm-hmm. I like jittery. What? Panic. The air ocean. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Oh, I like these squares that you're, yeah, it's fucking dope. Yeah, just lines, but yeah, it's got like a good chat width, and it's not. There's so little data that it's not breaking into separate lines. Neat. Little yachty. The fucking little boat and all these nerdlets. Can't stand them. Mm. Literally lines.txt. Yeah, I haven't seen that one before. In all my years of irking, but yeah, it's just very relaxing. I'm also seeing it from across the room as it like scrolls up a screen. So, mm-hmm. Lines.txt. I'm sure that you could write a script that like kind of automatically generated each of those different things and rendered them out there. Like you could literally have snake game .txt output by like some Pyborg fucking script or whatever. But I don't know nothing about computers, so I ain't gonna do it. Yeah, you'd make pipes.py or something like that. I'm sure somebody's already done it. Mm-hmm. Now, let me see. I'm sure that somebody. Oh, I'm surprised he's not complaining in his channel. Let me see. Oh, then he banned you yesterday at 6 p.m. from his channel, Headshot. And then he thinks that you are Black Man, uh, and it's just ridiculous right there. Uh, I can't tell you how immeasurable my disappointment that this guitar pedal did not show up today was. I wouldn't have bought it if I had known that things would go this way. But live and learn. So stupid. All right, let me. And I'm going to spend all day. This other guitar pedal I bought, it's probably going to send back because it doesn't do what I want it to do. That's my life: buying like musical equipment, fucking around with it, and being like, this show ain't no good, and never actually like practicing or developing talent at all. And just fucking around endlessly. Yeah, Rondito Rage Band Me. So I don't own Head Shop. I think I'm opting there, but it is Rondito's channel. So um, if you desperately, if you need help, sort of making peace with Rondito, I will give it an attempt. But I think you should wait a day or two, because like he's fucking insane in the membrane right now. Let me see. So in IRC 30. Yeah, he really. I can't believe he thinks you're black man. He should. He's been on fucking FNet for like 20 years. Why does he not know that that's Bruce L? All right, hold on. And I gotta take this. Yes, hello. There we go. Man, I just cannot get focus going on this morning. I wonder why. Yeah, fucking. How do you like that ringtone, by the way? That's so ridiculous. Classic NYC traffic noises and so forth. Yeah, my camera keeps. I gotta. Maybe I'll build a new camera type thing today. I had an idea for setting up. I have a location where I could potentially set up like a stream cam or whatever, but I don't think there would be audio. But yeah, maybe I'll do that today. That could be fun. Yeah, the fucking. I don't even hear it. I've been in New York for so fucking long. Fuck's sake. It's ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous today. Yeah, although the murdering Rondito ASCII might be feeding some of his paranoia. God. That's ridiculous. Ugh. Ridiculous. With the RNO pink baseball cap. Ugh. So stupid. Ugh. I don't know what to make of this whole thing. What a debacle. It's ridiculous. Lodi's escorts are getting mugged hella today. Which escorts are getting mugged? I see. The idea is that I'm a pimp and have to deal. Yeah, what kind of a fucking pimp is having to answer all these calls at 10 a.m.? That's what I want to know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if one more person calls me, I'm just gonna blow up like the World Trade. It's fucking ridiculous right there. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't like the I like the twang of his bowstring giving him away, but I just like I don't know how this bouncing pig shit might be too much for our reader there. It was kind of funny when I wrote it, but Yeah, distractions fucking abound today. This is my own fault because I like got to work late on this thing and like fucking around with IRC and have a bunch of screens open and so forth. You can see just me be like, what? Chats? Rondeau? What? Packages? Guitar pedals? What? Before he could fire, there was a loud crash in the brush upriver. The drift of pigs was startled. They sprang a foot into the air with their tails stuck straight out. Then they froze, stiff as statues. Fish took his shot. Better. I have to go to Ghetto Mart. What do you need from a fucking Ghetto Mart? Get in the ghetto. When a G is crying, don't know the words of this song in the ghetto. I almost want them to be like fainting goats. I mean, I could just rewrite this whole thing to be about a herd of fainting goats. Those goats are dope. It's just been like a catastrophe. That's all morning. We still got to try. Before he could fire, something crashed in the brush up river and startled the drift of pigs. They sprang a foot into the air with their tails stuck straight out. When they landed, they froze, stiff as statues. The pigs panicked and darted about in circles, squealing their famous yee-lee cry. Yeah, fish is this fucking It's weird how I feel like when I'm writing about characters getting frustrated, I become frustrated. Maybe I'm gaining empathy in my old age, but yeah, I'm definitely like, yeah, I'm pissed off at these fucking pigs too. Whoa, 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 whoa. How long have I been doing this? 2.5 hours? Yeah. We'll stop. Maybe I'll come back to it later today. But yeah. Not a huge amount of progress here. And what's killing me is I'm going to have to day 23. And yeah, like, I'm not even going to do a word count on this because I made a few good changes, and I like the thing about the mulberry bush and everything. But honestly, like, I don't expect as much for myself on a Saturday because I'm staying up late the night before and so forth. But well, I hope your days are a little more productive. And yeah, now let me go see tomorrow.